did it all. I did it all by myself. I didn't need any of you. I didn't need my family members. I didn't need anyone but me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pleb is back. In this report, Pierre Poilievre shocked everyone this weekend when he attended his first ever UFC event, and the fallout from this has been nothing short of hilarious, having the left go into a complete meltdown over Pierre Poilievre going to the UFC. You won't want to miss this report. Stick around. Welcome to your Monday report. Now, this weekend was absolutely epic, with Pierre Poilievre going to the UFC, the insane reaction from the left, and we're going to get into all of that in today's episode. But before we do, here is a message from today's sponsor. Right now, countries aren't just fighting wars, they're fighting for energy control. And if you zoom out, it all comes back to one thing. Energy security is national security. That's why, even if it's not being said out loud, countries are moving back towards nuclear. Not because it's trendy, because it works, it's reliable, and it doesn't depend on unstable regions to keep the lights on. And this is where it gets interesting. Uranium, the fuel behind nuclear, has already doubled off its lows. Demand is climbing fast, but supply is still tight after years of underinvestment. And now North America is scrambling to secure domestic supply, while utilities rush back into long-term contracts. That brings me to today's sponsor, Global Uranium Corp. Their tickers are on the screen right now, and this video segment is sponsored on their behalf. They're early, but that's kind of the point. Their assets are positioned in two of the most important uranium jurisdictions: the Athabasca Basin in Canada, known for some of the highest grade uranium in the world, and Wyoming, the leading uranium producing state in the US. So as countries prioritize secure local energy, companies with exposure to uranium in stable regions start to matter a lot more. Now, this is still exploration, so there's no guarantees, but historically, this is where some of the biggest upside comes from when a commodity circle turns. And right now, the macro is lining up. So yeah, do your own research, but understand this: the energy transition isn't slowing down, it's shifting, and uranium is right at the middle of it. And remember, folks, this is not financial advice. Thank you to Global Uranium for supporting this channel and for the bag of money. Now let's get into today's show. Welcome to your Monday report. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you have probably seen some clips of Pierre Poilievre at the UFC this weekend. And this sent the left into a nuclear meltdown. And it all started with this clip of Pierre Poilievre entering the arena. Wow. Look at the frenzy he's creating. It's almost as if the media saying that Pierre Poilievre is unpopular is a complete lie. Just look at the people lining up to take pictures with him when he's out in public. You see how excited she was here? Look at this. Look at this woman's reaction here in front of Pierre. Look how excited she is to meet Pierre. That's wholesome. The Oh Canada's, everyone trying to take a picture. Now, this clip upset all the right people, including liberal talking head from the CBC, Sharon Carr, who said that this video smells like regret, in which I would say, your post sounds like triggered. Now, the reason clips like this triggers the left so much is because it completely exposes their lies. Every single day, the media will try to tell Canadians that Pierre Poilievre's unpopular, Canadians hate Pierre Poilievre, but then you see clips like this, and it completely invalidates everything the media says, including this next clip, which shows that Pierre Poilievre's a man of the people. Shout out to my friend Jasmine Lane for the amazing footage. Wow. They're lining up to take pictures with Pierre Poilievre at the UFC event. You guys notice? No boos. Not a single boo. Have you guys heard a single boo? If Mark Carney was at this arena, he would get booed so loud. This is why liberals don't go to UFC events. Wow. It's amazing that Pierre Poilievre could just blend in with everyday Canadians. And you don't see like a 20-person security detail with him because people don't genuinely hate Pierre Poilievre, unlike what the media is trying to convince Canadians. And it didn't take long for the left to melt down over this clip and start comparing Pierre Poilievre to President Trump, because Trump attends UFC events and Pierre Poilievre attended a UFC event, so they must be the same person, right? I heard that President Trump hung out with Ghislaine Maxwell. You want to know who else hung out with Ghislaine Maxwell? Mark Carney. That must make them the same person by that logic, right? But this next post I'm about to show you really highlights how disgusting and vile the left is when it's someone that they don't agree with. Jasmine Lane posted this selfie with Pierre Poilievre at the UFC event in Winnipeg, which I think it's an amazing selfie. But you want to know what's not amazing? The left's reaction to this picture. Let's just go see how disgusting these people truly are. With users like Upper Canadian saying she's definitely trying to steal Pierre from his wife. Disgusting. Dog writes, hey, Anna Poilievre, have you been replaced? Can you imagine tweeting something like that? These people are so gross. And in the most predictable reaction to this picture came from none other than Mark Slapinski, who came out and said Poilievre is a loser for attending the UFC and taking this picture with Jasmine Lane. And it's crazy that Mark Slapinski can go to hating on Pierre Poilievre to posting things like this 4 months ago saying, I'd like to wish Pierre Poilievre and his family a very Merry Christmas. He's a good husband, a caring father, and a strong leader, uniquely qualified to be next Prime Minister of Canada. We love you, Pierre. Blue Summer. To go from this post to complete Pierre derangement syndrome within 4 months is absolutely wild. And I have more footage here inside the arena of Pierre Poilievre from Aaron Bronstetter, who is a reporter over at TSN. Damn. What is the first thing you notice in this clip? Okay, what is the first thing you notice? I'm going to play it back one more time. Not one single boo. Not one F you, Pierre. Not one boo. No heckling. The people love Pierre over at the UFC. And Pierre Poilievre was even spotted here talking shop with Dana White, the president of the UFC. I wonder if Pierre Poilievre is going to be attending the UFC White House card. I think he should. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. And this picture of Pierre and Dana White triggered all the right people, including Bruce Arthur, the communist journalist over at the Toronto Star, who had this to say. So at this moment in history, Poilievre's pivot has been to go on Joe Rogan, right before Rogan wound up at an Oval Office event. Ooh, hit UFC and chat with Dana White, a Trump pal who is holding an event at the White House lawn in June, and call the Prime Minister badly educated? Yes, folks, the left were having themselves quite the meltdown on Saturday night. But what was probably the most powerful moment of the evening was after Mike Malone won in the main event, he invited Pierre Poilievre up to the octagon to give him a hug after his big win, which is absolutely heartwarming. Wow. That is dope. That is cool. He literally invited him up to give him a hug after his win. Damn. Do you think any UFC fighters inviting Mark Carney up to the octagon to celebrate a win like this? No effing chance. No chance. And after that warm embrace, Pierre Poilievre went backstage to give Mike Malone another huge hug and congratulate him on his huge win. Yo, Pierre's looking jacked. Look at, oh my God. Zoom in on this bicep here. Pierre is looking huge. He's looking swole. Pierre has been hitting the gym, okay? Pierre might be on some TRT, but I like it. Looking jacked. what they're saying. He's saying great win, talking. It's very low audio in the back. I apologize for that. Oh, there's a MP for Winnipeg, Brandon Leslie. Man, Pierre's been eating his Wheaties and taking his vitamins and saying his prayers, brother. And in the most heartwarming moment of the night, Mike Malone, after his huge UFC win, gifted Pierre Poilievre his walkout gear to show his appreciation for the conservative leader. Wow. Looks good. What a beautiful gift, truly. And to wrap up today's show, Brandon Leslie posted these pictures from the UFC event, which I thought were worth sharing because they came out really great. This is an awesome picture. This is Pierre with Brandon Leslie cage side at the UFC. That's nice. Pierre Poilievre after Mike Malone's win. Excited, happy, proud. But this one is the best picture here. Pierre Poilievre and Brandon Leslie cage side taking pictures with I don't know, who is that? Is that the Winnipeg Jets? Who are these people behind him? And look, you can even, if you even zoom in, they had these seats reserved for Pierre Poilievre, as you can see on the UFC sticker, honorary Pierre Poilievre. He had like multiple seats in the front row. Damn. Pierre Poilievre needs to attend more UFCs. He's got the plug now. All right, folks, that's a wrap here for today's video. But let me ask you guys this question. What did you guys think of Pierre Poilievre attending the UFC? Is this good for his political image? Is this going to hurt his political image? Also, should Pierre Poilievre attend the UFC event at the White House lawn coming up, I believe, in like 2 months? Is that something he should do? Tell me in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed today's show and you want to support me, you already know how to do it. Like this video, share it out, hype it up, drop a comment. I read them all. Buy a membership. My name is ThePLEB. I'll see you at the next report. Peace.